Hey there, how's it going? So today is day 51 of 100. I am on the downhill slope. And today I am a little bit nervous, and that is because I am going to be super vulnerable. And it's scary to be vulnerable, but I am going to read some of my thoughts that I actually journaled about. And the reason that this came, first off, this is all about the creative process. So there are three parts to the creative process, in my belief. There is the part leading up to the actual thing that you are doing that's creative, so the beginning. And then there is the actual creative process, the doing, and then there is the aftermath of the creative process. So I did something creative, and for me, being creative is a scary, vulnerable thing. So I did something creative today. I have a weekly newsletter that I send out, and every single time, every single week, it is a scary thing for me because I have all of these doubts, and it's new, and so I'm always pushing up against that fear. And then I did the newsletter, I sent it out, and I felt so amazing after. And so I was just very curious, and I wanted to go deeper and investigate this creative process. And so I decided that I was going to journal, because for me, journaling is such a powerful thing. And I think that it's a powerful thing for everyone. I just don't think that people understand the power that comes with journaling. So I journaled about it, and then I decided that I am going to read my thoughts with you. And so that is really scary. That is really vulnerable, because this is my thoughts. These are my innermost thoughts. But the reason why I want to do this, and the reason why I think it's important to have this conversation and also to share my inner thoughts, is not because I think that I'm amazing, or not because I think that I'm right, but I really think that I'm not alone in what I journal about. And I really hope and believe that this could help somebody else. And not only that, I want to encourage others to be vulnerable. I think that so many people are afraid of being vulnerable, and we look at vulnerability as a bad thing. But really, vulnerability and being vulnerable, it's a good thing, because it builds connection, and it helps other people. If you are open and honest about your experience, other people can relate to that, and they can learn from that, and you can learn from other people being vulnerable. So I'm going to just read what I journaled. And like I said, this is regarding the creative process and the three phases of the creative process. So I start out by saying, I want to journal and reflect on the creative process and my experience. Anything creative starts out scary, daunting, and like a weight. I have a resistance and I want to avoid it. So then I literally write and I ask, why? Right? Like, I ask that question so that I can go deeper. I said, because it's new and scary and I've never done it before, and my simple mind thinks it's doing me a good thing by protecting me. It's also vulnerable. I could fail. I could look bad. I know it might not be easy, or at least I tell myself it will require a lot of myself, as a way to hold myself back rather than to show up and play. So this is something that I find so interesting, this concept of playing, right? I think we put so much pressure on ourselves, and we get these ideas in our head that things are going to be so scary. But what if we just allowed ourselves to have fun with it? What if we showed up with a positive attitude and with an idea of playing the way that kids show up to different things? So it continues, I doubt myself that I'm good enough. It takes work. I doubt that I can figure it out or do it well. I put so much pressure on myself to be perfect, which doesn't serve me. Rather, it keeps me stuck and static. So again, that pressure that we put on ourselves for whatever reason, for fear of failure or for fear of looking bad, it actually does the thing that you don't want. It holds you back and it keeps you stuck. So then I asked my question, okay, I asked myself the question, okay, with all of those negative things, all of those doubts, why do I do creative things at certain times? And I said, usually it's because I say that I wanted that thing or I made a commitment. But then the moment of truth comes and I'm fearful and I'm not always full of energy and ready to go. So yeah, it's easy to be excited about something when it's in the future. But then when you get to that moment and you have to step up, that's when the fear comes on, right? So I say, I have the thought and the realization while I'm writing and journaling. I say, I think understanding this is part of the process and is helpful because I can step back from it and say, oh yeah, this has happened before. This is my comfort zone trying to protect me. This doesn't mean I need to stop or give in. I can acknowledge it and keep moving forward. I can do the work. I do the thing I'm afraid of or that I've built up in my head, and 90% of the time, at least 90% of the time, it goes way better than I thought. And I finish feeling inspired and energized and excited and confident and ready for more. I overcome those doubts and then I feel more confident. And most importantly for me right now, I feel more energized. So this is that third phase of the process. So I decided to really dig into feeling energized because that is something that I'm struggling with right now, especially as I am dealing with the grief of the loss of my mom. So I said, I do this hard thing that I'm fearful of and I overcome those doubts. And then on the other side of those doubts, I feel energized. So then I had the thought and I wrote about it. I wonder if I can use this method as a way of gaining energy, overcoming a fear or doubt, or creating something, aka letting something out that is within me, right? Because that's what creating is. It is an idea or a thought, an impulse that you have within you that you bring to life. I say, if I adopt this point of view, it might change the way I feel before doing something creative because I'll have the end in mind, and I know that energy and confidence is a byproduct of being creative. I can lean into taking creative risks because I know what's on the other side. Looking at the end, kind of like how I look at the end of a workout, thinking about how strong I'll feel always helps me get through a hard workout. Thinking about how energized I'll feel might help me get through a hard risk or a hard next step of a creative endeavor. It feels great to help others grow. It feels great to help others grow and challenge myself, even if it's scary. Woo! Okay, so that was really scary for me because these are my innermost thoughts, and we oftentimes don't share our innermost thoughts with other people. But like I said, I felt like this could potentially help someone, and I just think it is so important to be vulnerable and to be honest with yourself and with other people. And I just really thought that this was a great idea if we can keep the end in mind. If we can look to scary things, creative things, risks, and keep that end in mind. Like, oh, for me, I'm going to feel energized, or I'm going to feel confident, or I'm going to feel inspired, or I'm going to feel powerful, or I'm going to feel excited because I got to help other people. And you focus on that rather than the hard thing that is ahead of you, rather than the scary thing that is ahead of you, and it will help you to get through it. So that is what I have today. I hope that you can be honest, that you can be empowered, that you can be vulnerable yourself. Thank you so much for showing up with me. If you would like to be a part of my weekly newsletter, let me know, or you can head over to my website, showuptogoup.com. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.